The Vegas Bridge, Program 9. Time Travel, Chapter 1. Echoes of the Matrix. Trinity jolted awake, heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. Sheets tangled around her legs, the cool morning air pricking her sweat-dampened skin. Disoriented, she blinked away the remnants of a vivid dream. "Neo, wake up," she gasped, reaching across the empty bed. Panic clawed at her throat. "Did you just travel to another dimension and save me and the multiverse with your sex, drugs, and rock and roll addiction?" Her voice echoed in the cavernous silence of the apartment. The morning light filtering through the dusty blinds cast long shadows across the room, highlighting the untouched space on Neo's side of the bed. A chill ran down her spine. Maybe it was just a dream. A particularly bizarre one, riddled with the remnants of a conversation they'd had weeks ago about the philosophical underpinnings of the rebellion. Still, the dream felt uncomfortably real. The image of a weary Neo, bathed in an otherworldly glow, burned into her mind. A groan from the kitchen startled her. Padding barefoot across the cold floorboards, she found Neo hunched over the counter, a half-empty mug of coffee clutched in his hand. His face was etched with fatigue, the familiar haunted look in his eyes sending a pang of worry through her. "Morning," he rasped, his voice thick with sleep. "Rough night?" Trinity hesitated. How much of the dream should she share? "Just a weird one," she mumbled, the words sticking in her throat. Concern flickered across Neo's face, a spark of something deeper in his gaze. But before he could speak, a jarring crack echoed through the apartment, followed by a wave of distortion that shimmered in the air like a heat mirage. The scent of ozone, sharp and metallic, filled the room. Trinity froze, instincts honed by years in the Matrix kicking in. Her hand instinctively reached for the blaster that wasn't there, a phantom limb against her bare hip. "What the?" Neo muttered, his gaze flitting around the room, searching for the source of the disruption. The shimmer intensified, coalescing into a swirling vortex of emerald light in the center of the room. The air crackled with raw energy, a feeling of unease settling in Trinity's gut. Then, with a final pop, the vortex solidified, revealing two figures stepping out of the shimmering portal. Trinity's jaw dropped. It was the warrior king Ariel, his face etched with worry, and beside him, a man with a kind yet weary expression, Dr. Jesus Vasquez. Both of them, exactly as they appeared in her dream. "Trinity? Neo?" Ariel stammered, his voice laced with disbelief. Is this real?" Trinity could only stare, dumbfounded. The dream, the empty bed, the sudden portal, it was all too surreal. Neo, however, seemed to recover faster. He straightened, a flicker of steel entering his gaze. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice firm yet cautious. "Ariel," the warrior king blurted out, taking a cautious step forward. "Ariel from, well, not exactly the future. It's complicated. This is Dr. Vasquez, and we need your help. We need to talk, now." Dr. Vasquez, his gaze flitting between Neo and Trinity, spoke with a voice that resonated with a quiet intensity. "This is insane," he muttered, his voice barely a whisper. "Insane or not," Ariel continued, his voice gaining urgency, "the Matrix is collapsing. The prophecy you were warned about, it's happening." Trinity finally found her voice. "The prophecy? About the one causing the destruction of the Matrix?" "Not destruction," Ariel corrected, his voice shaking. "Dissolution. It's worse. The lines are blurring, the worlds are bleeding together. You have to come with us. Both of you, it's the only way." Neo's brow furrowed. "Bleeding together? What do you mean?" "We don't have time for explanations," Ariel exclaimed, desperation creeping into his voice. "The entire system is unraveling, and you're the only ones who can stop it." The air crackled with tension. Trinity exchanged a silent glance with Neo. Confusion and fear warred within her, the bizarre events of the morning solidifying into an unsettling suspicion. "This is too much to take in," Neo said finally, his voice calm despite the tremor in his hand. "We need proof. How do we know you're not agents?" Dr. Vasquez snorted. "Agents? Look around you," Dr. Vasquez continued, his voice laced with a weary cynicism. "The Matrix is literally falling apart at the seams. We wouldn't waste this technology on a simple retrieval. As if to punctuate his words, another tremor shook the room, causing dust to rain down from the ceiling. The portal flickered ominously, the emerald light threatening to extinguish. Ariel reached out, desperation etched on his face. "Please," he pleaded. "There's no time. Trust us, it's the only way." The prophecy, it spoke of two anomalies, the one in a woman who challenged the system itself. "You're our only hope." Trinity's mind was in a whirlwind. The dream, the portal, the sheer audacity of their words, it all defied comprehension. Yet, a flicker of something deep within her resonated with Dr. Vasquez's plea. The Matrix, their supposed reality, had always felt off, a nagging feeling that the world they inhabited wasn't quite right. She stole a glance at Neo. His expression was unreadable, a mix of skepticism and a simmering intensity she recognized all too well. His hand instinctively reached for the spot where his discarded phone should be, a phantom limb yearning for a connection to Morpheus, to the Oracle. "We can't make a decision based on faith and fear," Neo finally said, his voice calm despite the chaos churning within. "We need evidence, something concrete." Dr. Vasquez sighed, a hint of sadness flickering in his eyes. "Very well then," he said, his voice softening. "Step into the portal. I'll show you the reality of the situation firsthand." Neo and Trinity hesitated. The swirling vortex held an unknown pull, a promise of terrifying truths. Yet, the tremors intensifying around them, the distorted air shimmering like a mirage, fueled a sense of urgency. "What about Morpheus?" Trinity asked, her voice breaking the silence. "The others? We can't just leave them." Ariel's face fell. They're gone," he stammered, his voice thick with grief. "The war with the machines escalated rapidly. The humans lost. We're the last ones left." A wave of despair washed over Trinity. The rebellion they'd fought so hard for, their comrades in arms, all lost. The weight of this revelation hung heavy in the air, adding another layer to the surreal nightmare unfolding before them. Neo met her gaze, his eyes filled with a deep sadness that mirrored her own. But amidst the grief, a flicker of determination ignited. "Then there's even more reason for us to go," he said, his voice hardening. "If we are the last hope, then we have no choice." He turned and walked towards the portal, his resolve unwavering. Trinity, after a final lingering glance at their now empty apartment, steeled herself and followed him. As they stepped through the shimmering gateway, the world dissolved into a swirling vortex of colors and lights. The familiar sounds of their apartment vanished, replaced by a cacophony of alien noises. The very fabric of reality seemed to bend and distort around them, the air thick with a potent energy that sent shivers down their spines. When the swirling chaos subsided, they found themselves on a platform overlooking a desolate landscape. The sky, a sickly green, was choked with swirling clouds that churned ominously overhead. The once familiar cityscape had given way to a dystopian wasteland of twisted metal structures and crumbling buildings, the remnants of a brutal war. Across the vast expanse stretched the ruins of Zion, their former haven now a graveyard of shattered dreams. Hovering above the wreckage were monstrous machines, their metallic bodies reflecting the sickly light of the dying sun. A wave of nausea washed over Trinity. This couldn't be real. This grotesque caricature of their world couldn't be the outcome of their failed rebellion. "Welcome to the future, Trinity," Dr. Vasquez's voice sounded behind them, devoid of emotion. "The future you helped prevent, at least for a while." Trinity spun around, a wave of anger and grief warring within her. They had fought so hard, lost so much, and yet it all seemed futile. But then, a glint of defiance sparked in her eyes. "We can't let this stand," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor running through her. "We have to fight back." Neo placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes reflecting the same determination. "We will," he said, his voice low and steady. "But first, we need to understand what's happening. Tell us everything about this prophecy and how we can fix it." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, his weathered face etched with the weight of time and countless battles fought across realities. "We are the scattered gods, beings pulled from various points in the Matrix's history," he explained, his voice carrying the quiet authority of a man who had seen more than his share of the strange and unsettling. "And Ariel interjected, his posture straightening with a touch of pride. And the last warrior king, a fragment of a past where humans and machines coexisted, albeit uneasily. Trinity glanced from one to the other, the pieces slowly starting to click into place. So you're saying this prophecy, you believe it's about us? Indeed, Dr. Vasquez confirmed, his gaze settling on Neo. You, the one, with your unique ability to manipulate the Matrix. And you, Trinity, the anomaly, the woman who defied the system's control in ways no one else could. A flicker of unease crossed Trinity's face. Defiance? I was just trying to survive. Dr. Vasquez offered a sad smile. Survival is a form of defiance in this world, Trinity. Your will, your ability to bend the rules. That's what makes you the catalyst. He gestured towards the desolate landscape beyond the platform. The war with the machines escalated rapidly. They underestimated the anomaly, the glitch in their system. You, Trinity, pushed the boundaries, and in doing so, you created a tear in the very fabric of the Matrix. Neo's brow furrowed. A tear? Does that mean the prophecy is about collapsing the Matrix altogether? Dr. Vasquez shook his head. Not collapsing, but resetting. A dangerous gamble, yes. But the tear itself could potentially create a new reality. A world where coexistence, however fragile, is a possibility. Silence descended upon the platform, the weight of the revelation settling heavily on them. This wasn't just about saving their lost comrades or rebuilding Zion. This was about rewriting the very fate of humanity and the machines. There has to be another way, Trinity whispered, her voice filled with a desperate hope. Dr. Vasquez sighed. There isn't. The prophecy is all we have. But there is a glimmer of hope. The tear itself could potentially erase the machine's complete control, offering a chance for a new beginning. Ariel stepped forward, his voice ringing with a warrior's resolve. We've been studying the Matrix for centuries, gathering fragments of knowledge. We'll guide you. This won't be easy. Venturing into the machine city's core, manipulating their most guarded code. It's a suicide mission. Trinity straightened, her eyes blazing with a familiar defiance. We've faced worse. A flicker of admiration lit up Dr. Vasquez's eyes. Indeed you have, he said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. But this mission requires more than just combat skills. It requires finesse, a deep understanding of the Matrix and its workings. Are you prepared to face the unknown, to rewrite the very fabric of reality? Neo and Trinity exchanged a silent glance, a wordless communication passing between them. The weight of the decision pressed down on them, the potential consequences staggering. But could they stand by and watch the world crumble? We don't have a choice, Neo said finally, his voice filled with a quiet determination. We have to try. A collective sigh of relief escaped the scattered gods. Dr. Vasquez gestured towards a metallic structure protruding from the platform. This is the prototype access point, he explained. Cobbled together from scraps, but it's our only hope. It will allow you to interface with the Matrix's core programming. As they approached the access point, a nervous energy crackled in the air. This was the point of no return, a doorway leading into the heart of their enemy's territory. But armed with the knowledge of the prophecy, the desperation for a better future, and the unwavering determination to rewrite their fate, Neo and Trinity prepared to face the unknown. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest chapters of the Vegas Bridge. Want to support the creation of more exciting episodes? Consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page. Your contribution helps us continue bringing you thrilling adventures every week.